Hey, Pammy.
Hi, Brooke.
We're not going to say why because it's exciting, but it's going to be a two-parter.
It is.
Our lovely guest today, if you haven't looked on the actual text of the podcast, is great.
You don't want to say anything.
You don't want to say anything. But
yeah.
But the first part did extend so long that this will be a two-parter. So Pam and I are going to come in after the interview. Yeah, and we will do some bridal breaks at the end of the interview.
Yeah.
Sound good?
See you then.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Something borrowed, something blue. Give us all your juicy news, sensational, irrational. It's Wedding Confessionals.
Welcome to another episode of Wedding Confessionals. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Pam.
And the only thing we love more than weddings
is talking about weddings.
Ooh, girl. I'm so excited for you to introduce this guest. I think that the listeners will immediately recognize the name and be as excited as I am.
I think so.
Go for it.
All right. Well, if you guys are if this is your first time listening, you need to go back a few episodes.
Pause right now and go back to episode 115.
There we go.
Yeah.
If you have already listened to episode 115 with AnnaDee, then this gentleman needs no introduction. We have the one and only Julio with us today.
Oh my God. I feel like it's like a celebrity sighting.
It is.
When I heard Julio was going to come on, I'm like, Julio!
Yes, he is here to tell his side of the story.
Yeah, which is pretty close to hers, but I'm
We're
very
find
happy
out.
to be here.
Yeah, I mentioned to you before we started recording that I had a friend that was listening to the podcast. Shout out to you, Melissa, who was listening and mid listen texted me in all caps, "Where is my Julio?"
He's out there, Melissa. I'm telling you.
Melissa.
He is.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Julio's the authority on Julios.
I know. We have a meeting every month. I'll let him know.
Please tell the other Julios.
I will.
She's ready. So, Julio, you listened to then
Absolutely.
AnnaDee's episode.
I did. I laughed quite a bit.
Okay, good. That's our objective. So we want to kind of hear your perspective on
Sure.
everything because obviously, even though there's a lot of shared experiences in there, I mean, as we know from the story, there's a lot of space in between where you're doing your own thing. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Ruth is...
I love Ruthie.
Oh my God, you two have a bond already.
Oh, I loved her.
Oh,
right out the gate.
Yeah, we'll put up a picture that we have already of Julio and Ruthie in an
Ruthie.
embrace.
She's awesome.
Love at first sight.
Ma'am, what are you doing? Are you done? Just wagging her tail.
She's happy.
Okay, whatever. Okay. So Julio, the way we start every episode is with the question, how old were you when you went to your first wedding?
When I attended my first wedding,
Yes.
probably pretty young. Let me think. I'd say 8, 7, something like that. Pretty young.
Okay, pretty young.
Yeah.
And we learned from AnnaDee that you're from Southern California, from LA.
Born and raised.
Like a big family, little family?
It's the nuclear family is about 5 of us. So 2 brothers, my parents, and then we have some cousins and folks on my dad's side of the family. Most of my mom's side still in Cuba.
Okay. So did you go to a lot of weddings when you were a kid, teenager?
Yeah. It's part of the whole Catholic big Latin family thing. So if a cousin or a third cousin or a fifth cousin got married, usually you were part of that.
Do you like weddings then?
Some yes, some no. There's a very huge difference depending on culture and who you're talking to and who they are. I've been to big, loud Cuban and Mexican weddings. I've been to plenty of white weddings and even an Indian wedding, which was completely different. So yeah, I love the concept of it. I think it's super interesting to see all of the different expressions, but I've also had my share of please get me out of here weddings.
Would you say the please get me out of their weddings? Because a lot of people listening are planning weddings and their biggest fear is in the middle of their wedding, somebody in a pew or chair going, oh my God, please get me out of here.
Yes.
What were the things that kind of led you in the...
That was pretty easy. There was an open bar and there were a lot of relatives that got way hammered way too quickly. So it became very unpleasant.
Yeah. Okay.
That was probably the last really bad experience I had. And it wasn't one guy because you expect one or two, but it was like 6 or 7. folks. So.
Oh, it's like a little too rowdy. Yeah.
Took attention away from everybody else. And
yes, everyone be on their best behavior.
I entirely agree.
It's a big day.
Yes,
it is.
It's not about you, you know?
Yes.
That's right.
Guys, invite Julio to your wedding. He sounds like a great guest.
The meeting's next month. Same place.
All the Julios get together
all
and get their wedding invites and get organized.
So were you ever in a wedding?
One time, besides my own one time. With my older brother, I think it was his first marriage. I was probably 18, and it was the only other time that I wore a tux besides my wedding with AnnaDee.
Oh, fun.
2 times in my life.
Different tux? Same one?
I would not be able to fit in that tux if my life depended on it. 18 years old. I think I was 155 pounds, 150 pounds, something like that.
So if you're 18, was there a bachelor party that you were involved with?
I was not invited.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I was certainly not included.
You're not 21.
No.
So yeah, little
You
Julio
don't
had
get
to
to do
stay.
those parties.
Yeah.
Mini Julio had to stay home.
Yeah. That's when I started the club.
So, as we know from AnnaDee, you met her in college.
Yes.
Can you tell us your perspective of how you met her?
I was a sophomore at UCLA. I think I just finished my first year there. I was commuting. I had a job or two. School was important, and I wasn't there to goof around. I was there to get my degree and move forward to law school. That was the idea. My dad was kicking his ass. I was going to do the same. I had a girlfriend from high school. It was an on and off thing for a while. She eventually went to Santa Barbara, and I don't recall. I think we were together at the time that I met AnnaDee still. So we were in a large, I think it was a sociology class or a psychology class. Sociology class, something like that.
An ology.
Sure. It was a big, huge 300-person like forum with a professor up front, little tiny person bouncing up and down, talking. And I'm in the back because I had only one person in the entire class that I knew, kind of, and he and I had met during orientation. He was a total bro with long hair, skateboard, and that kind of guy.
I mean, UCLA bro.
A UCLA bro.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got in there, but he was there, and immediately scoping the whole area out as I'm trying to take notes. And he noticed AnnaDee before I did because she's very pretty, and she was several rows up ahead. And he pointed her out, and I agreed. Yes, she's very pretty. And
I'm sure the conversation was that
polite.
It was it was something like Julio. Look over there. That's a lovely lady, isn't that? Would you agree with that? Oh yes, I agree. She is a lovely lass. I think it was something like that.
Yes, young boys,
gentlemen,
18, 19, left to their
UCLA.
own devices,
just like that.
Just like that. Yeah.
So he really wanted to move up immediately, like in class, and like it was full class, so there's no way to do it. But he really wanted to. So the next time, we edged up a few more rows. You could see her better now. You could see her face now a lot better. Before it was a UCLA cap, a ponytail, and a butt. I mean, she wore those tight things that were over the sweatshirt, and mix and match thing. So that's what caught his eye, and that's what kind of moved us forward. And I think the third class, I got there before he did. So to be funny, I jumped ahead and sat next to her. And he came in looking for me all over the place. And so I'm waving over, hey, come on over. Hey. So he met her, and we laughed about it a little bit. And neither of us remember his name.
No.
Not in the least. So
really?
Yeah.
The guy that actually introduced you guys.
He wanted to date her. Yeah.
I wanted the end of the story to be like, and he was our officiant.
No. He really liked her a lot. And she didn't even remember him after talking for a while. So he stopped coming into class because, bro. And eventually it was just me and her, and we became friends. Timing was always a little off. It's funny how she talks about it in retrospect. It's not how I remember. She was, the really pretty senior about to graduate. I'm a scrub coming into school. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm in a relationship, so I'm being very respectful, of course, and not crossing any boundaries. But she was very pretty, and you know her. She's beautiful inside and out. So it's kind of hard not to like her right off the bat. But timing is everything. And timing wasn't meant to be at the time. So she was with somebody else, I believe. I'm not going to talk badly about somebody else, but didn't appreciate her at all. And I was kind of my very first relationship. So it just didn't work out at the time. It was interesting how things work out.
Do you remember going to see Clueless with her?
Oh, absolutely. I remember her picking me up in her little car. I was living at my parents' house still. I was commuting to UCLA. I was probably all of 20, maybe 19. I mean,
she was like a sophisticated lady,
older
woman.
I was out of my league, I thought. So we went. It was just, that wasn't even a date, really. She was good friends of mine. We had never seen a movie together. Usually we did things, not like that. But it was nice. I remember sitting and watching and laughing and wondering if Paul Rudd would ever age. And we all know that answer now.
Yep.
Same dude.
I mean, how does he do it?
I have no idea. Vampire.
Does that come up in the Julio meetings as well?
No, the Rudd meetings I'm not invited to anymore. I started aging, so I just
got kicked out.
Wasn't allowed after the gray started coming in. It's all right. But she was beautiful always. I always was very drawn to AnnaDee. She's just an awesome human being, and we made fast friends very quickly. But the dating and whether that was an option in her mind, she had different limitations in her head. She didn't date the UCLA guys. She dated the guys she worked with at the restaurants, that kind of thing. You set your own limitations.
Oh, okay. A little separation of church and state.
That kind of like that. And I, was in my own thing. So it didn't happen. I didn't think it was a possibility. I'm like, why would she even consider scrub me? Please. No, I'm just.
Wow, what a different perspective.
I know.
That was the way I saw it. And the older we got and the better we knew each other over time, that became less and less an issue, of course. But it was weird. It was weird. It was weird. I have a lot of friends I have a lot of female friends, a lot of women in my life that I don't have anything with. I'm just good friends with. I don't care if you're a man or a woman or anything in between. It's all cool. You're a person. With her, it was a little different, and it always was. I didn't know what it was, though. I didn't quite have that experience yet. So
it's so interesting. So we know that you were married first to someone else. How old were you when you got married the first time?
Let's think. I really only had 3 girlfriends in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so not very many. I'm counting now. Let's see, my first one, which I just told you about.
Yeah.
High school.
School, that ended in college. The second one started after college, so that was probably 25, 26. For about 10 years we dated to 35, and then got married around 35, I think.
Okay.
And then that lasted maybe 5 years, I think, 4.
Were you, was that a big wedding?
No, not at all. It hardly counts as a wedding.
That was the rooftop wedding, right?
She got it wrong. It was not on a rooftop. We were actually at a restaurant. She worked at a restaurant. The manager said we could use the second floor for free. He was actually our officiant. There were all of 5 people there, including a waitress that was a friend of hers from there that was working that night. So that's how big the wedding was. It was very, very small.
It's a small wedding. Was your whole family there? Like
my
nuclear
2
family?
brothers and my parents. And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very small.
So that relationship ends, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, you were still in contact with AnnaDee?
Yeah, we've always been in contact, but we go through phases and touch base here, go away for a little, touch base here, go away for a little while. And it had been a little while since we had touched base, probably at least 2 years, 3 years, something like that. And one day out of the blue, she reaches out, which wasn't strange. I mean, that's just the way it worked. And I think in the conversation, she asked how things are going, and I expressed how things were going, which was, I'm in an adjustment period. I'm trying to get used to being on my own for the first time. I never realized that until that point in my 40s, I had never lived alone.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
Oh, because you lived with your family during college.
Right. Then my best friend for years, then my girlfriend and my wife, and I'd never been alone.
It's weird if you've never done it.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God for Frank.
Aw,
Frank.
Your doggy.
Yeah, Frank definitely helped a lot during that period.
Aw. He's an animal lover, guys.
Oh,
If
my
you
God. Love
didn't
him.
want to love Julio anymore,
Right.
he also is a total lover. But again, Ruth and he connection from the get-go.
Immediately.
Love dogs. Oh, and cats. I mean, just give me an animal. It's all good.
Give me a little snuggly.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So you guys see each other in person for the first time after you're both officially separated / divorced /
The first time we see each other after that, she was, I don't know if she was completely separated yet. She may have not been. I think she was in the process of that. They were both, it hadn't been good for a while, and they'd been working on counseling, I think. And she just, I don't think she had pretty much known already. She just hadn't moved on it. I think after we had seen each other for the first time and connected and caught up, which was completely platonic, she broke up with him. They separated, and not long after that, we started seeing each other, but it didn't happen until after that.
So the first time, was it a dinner? What did she tell us?
It was a lunch.
It was a lunch.
It was a lunch in a place that no longer exists in North Hollywood, called the Eclectic Cafe.
Yes, that's right.
Love that place.
Yes.
Hours flew by. I mean, it was 5 hours in a blink of an eye. I hadn't seen her in a long time prior to that, because even though we had talked on the phone and on the computer, I think it was like 10 years since I'd seen her. She's as pretty as always. Her hair had changed a little bit, and that was about it. And we just started talking, and I thought the biggest, oddest change in the whole thing was she touched me, which was very odd for me, because prior to that time, I don't think I ever gave her a high five, much less a hug. Maybe at one point for her graduation, or one of those friendly, on the top of the back hugs.
Yeah.
But that's it. And I noticed that when we were talking, she was not handsy, but like a hand on the shoulder and the elbow, and my mind, when it happened, I just lose my train of thought. I was like, what?
So you noticed immediately.
Oh yeah, this wasn't
It was a
normal.
shift.
Yeah, I had no idea
Right.
what was going on. And I did. As funny as it sounds now, looking back, of course, what it looks like now. But at the time, I couldn't place it. It didn't make sense to me. I just didn't.
Oh, so you didn't think of it as a romantic connection at all?
No, I didn't understand what was going on with my friend from so much time. Something changed.
AnnaDee's throwing some game.
Yeah, she was.
You're missing all of it.
I absolutely was stupid. So much so that here I am coming off of the divorce and kind of in a damaged little place. I wasn't in the best shape at the time. And she's telling me about how things aren't working out with her. And I'm like, maybe counseling, maybe things will work out. So my mind wasn't in let's date. No,
You
it
were
was,
just
I was
being
trying
a
to
good
help her.
friend.
Yeah. I was
trying to salvage her relationship.
because it hurts. And
Yeah.
and I knew what she had in front of her if she continued. But by the time we had that conversation, her mind had already been made up. That wasn't something that I was convincing either way. That's just where it was.
So you have that lunch, the 5-hour lunch with the weird handsiness, which you're still in the friend zone in your mind.
Yeah.
When does it shift to no longer in the friend zone?
The follow-up time was, I don't know how many weeks later, if a month later, we had another follow-up. She came to visit me in downtown where I lived in a loft. In the historic core right next to the arts district.
He's so cool with his dog and his loft
I know.
and his great hair.
Oh yeah, it was long at the time.
Oh man.
So she came out and wait, I got to back up a little bit.
Okay.
So the handsy touchy thing kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, but not anywhere near as much as the hug goodbye. That threw me for a major. That's when I suddenly figured out, wait, there's something else here, maybe.
Oh.
So the hug goodbye kind of that changed things in my head, and
It wasn't the graduation day hug.
no, definitely not that. So the follow-up date, I had a different view than I did when I saw her to connect, because the connection date was, how's my friend doing? This other one was, she touched me. So it was a very little different context. And I remember her calling me saying, hey, out of all my friends, I picked you. I don't have my kids this weekend. Show me LA, right? Basically. And I had never had the chance to do that with her. So that was a very nice prolonged date. And things shifted, I think, at the end of that date. It was working toward the end, of course, the whole time. We were connecting more and more, but you asked me the moment, that she's sitting on my couch.
Oh my God. I forgot to ask him about the missed kiss.
Oh, I was holding off. We have to go back to that.
Okay, yeah, Pam, you go.
I was not going to let that go.
I forgot.
Really?
Right when he said that date, I was like, oh, that's the day he asked about the kiss. Okay, Pam, you get into the kiss.
That is
We do. We need to go back in time to the missed kiss.
So that was way before she got married. That was way before kids. That was before I met my ex-wife. I mean, that was way before.
We still in college?
It was right after college.
Okay.
It was a little tiny golden period right after college. I had just graduated. I think I had just moved in with my best friend. I was working a job in IT for the first time, doing really well, and kind of nursing a broken heart because I had my first relationship.
Yeah, your first love, your high school sweetheart.
That went south, and I was in a figuring things out period. And during that period of time, I happened to go to a party with AnnaDee, and I think it was the first time we actually had a few drinks, and things were great, and we were laughing and giggly, and I thought I felt a moment. I really did, and I leaned in for a kiss. And this is not something I would normally do. This is not something I would do with my friends. This is not the kind of guy I am. It took a lot to do that. I was very certain I was feeling this. So pardon, my surprise when I am maybe an inch, maybe half an inch away from her face, and she turns rapidly, so I get a good chunk of ear.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, rejected.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I immediately...
How do you even get out of that scenario?
Oh, I recoiled. I'm like, I misread this. I did something bad. I laughed it off. I didn't mention it again. I learned my lesson, and I thought, I crossed the line. I never did this I'm never going to do this again. Yeah. I misread this, and I'm so sorry, and I was embarrassed, so I wasn't even going to bring it up. And as a matter of fact, we did not speak of it for, 12 years, something more than that.
Wow.
14 years. It was a long time. Yeah.
God, that is like capital C cringe. I'm like, oh, God.
It was. I couldn't have written that in a movie. I mean, it looked like Ben Stiller fail. That's how I felt. I mean, it was, rough.
Oh, my God.
So I never mentioned it. But the thing is, and here's where the difference is between our experiences, is at that point, she knew where I was coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you made that abundantly clear.
And I thought that I was now very clear where she was coming from.
Yeah.
So I never entertained it again. I maintained my friendship. I never went there because I still want her in my life. I wasn't going to be that creepy dude. No. I misread it, acted like it never happened, and that was it. And then she always was like, you should have tried again. You have no idea. That's not the way. No means no, lady. Come on. I mean,
right?
Me
but,
too.
Yeah. I mean, serious though. You did. You went for it. She politely said no. The correct thing is to not continue to be a creep.
If it had come up later at some point and we talked and laughed about it, that was that. But I assume because it hadn't, I put her in a position to make her uncomfortable. So I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. I never mentioned it again. I never revisited it again until the end of the date, after an actual date.
So now we're back in your cool apartment downtown LA loft with your dog.
With my dogs. Yeah. And I think it was something in the, it was 80s music and maybe Friends without the volume on the television. Just because that was college and it was familiar. And then I brought it up. And I was very surprised to hear her perspective on things because that's not at all my experience. And the entire time I was... oh my God, my embarrassing mistake. And from her, the embarrassing mistake was having turned her head.
It was hers.
Yeah. So
wow.
Very, very different experiences. We're constantly trying to make up for that lost time.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now we're at the point where in the cool loft, smooches have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Things are at this point, do you realize this is not just some random fling? Like we're both.
It never was.
I wasn't sure because like you're both coming off from recent breakups. Yeah. Is this just us reaching out to familiar territory?
That she said it. She said, "This is gonna fizzle out. It'll be the greatest love of my life." She told me that way early, and she knows who I am. I'm especially with somebody I care about and a friend of mine, I mean, of many years, no, it was never a question as to whether this is something serious or not. I mean, if it had been anybody but her, I don't think it would have ever worked or happened. I hadn't completely healed yet. I was still kind of a mess. But because we were friends, she was far more understanding. She knew who I was before. She knew who I was then, and got me to where I am now. So it worked out. It's just, it definitely wasn't the most straightforward path. Yeah. Not a direct line.
Fair. So now you're in a serious relationship, right?
Yes.
Now you're really in it.
Uh-huh.
Are you thinking about getting married again, or do you just feel like I'm burned from that first time? I don't want to do this.
We had talked about it. Neither of us were really inclined at the time. We had looked back at marriage in our context of being marriage before. That was what we thought of. So, and we had something really good, and we didn't really want to mess with it. We thought this is good for us, and fine. By that time, I had already moved in. We had gotten a place together in Woodland Hills. The girls were with us half the time as well. So it really felt real, and I kind of a family already. But the girls really, more than anything, were asking, are you guys going to do this forever? Just be friends? And the idea itself became more attractive as we all went out together as a family and looked at rings. And it was cute. I mean, it was great. The band that I'm wearing, Jenna Lee picked out.
Oh, that's right. Let's see it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, cute. He's taking it off for us. Oh, we get to see it and touch it. Oh, that is lovely.
Yeah, it's very different.
You want to touch?
So are we.
That's cool.
And then that started changing things. COVID hit. That also changed things.
Yeah.
I also wanted something special, so I had her ring made. I drew best I could, and the jeweler drew things on it, and I drew things on it, and eventually we had a ring after several months. So she was not entirely surprised. We had been talking about it for a little while. She didn't know how it was going to happen or when it was going to happen. I do know she was feeling a little melancholy about a birthday that was coming up, so I figured that would be the perfect day to ask her. And I asked her on her birthday. Yeah.
How did you do it?
We went to a lovely restaurant right off the beach in Malibu. I can't remember the name at the moment. We've only been there once for that. But it was lovely. It was second floor. I talked to the guy before we got there. I told him what we were going to do. So he made sure we had a lovely view and everything was all set up beautifully. And we're talking and catching up and just talking about our lives like we often do and reminiscing. And she's lovely girl. She'll tell me how she's feeling. And here I'm trying to express leading into a proposal, but she keeps interrupting me and she keeps taking me off on other little trips. And I probably tried for a good 5 or 6 minutes. And she wouldn't let me. So finally I'm like, all right, she's not getting the point. I'm going to get on my knee. So I'm on my knee at the restaurant, and everybody around us already notices, and things got quiet, and you hear the regular restaurant noise suddenly die down. And I'm on my knee, and she kind of registers what's going on and gets a little teary, and then lets me get through what I was trying to tell her while we were sitting at the table, which was nothing prepared. It was nothing. That's not how we work. It's just the truth. How much I appreciated her patience and the trip that we've had, and how lucky and amazing it is that, out of everybody in the world, I am lucky enough to have a second chance. I don't know many people that have that. And I am appreciative of it every day. So that was the lead in, and I asked her to spend the rest of her life with me officially. And she didn't take too long to say yes. So we had a nice round of applause from everybody around us. We got some iPhone videos taken from different people that just started recording because they were cool people.
Good people. Everyone out there,
yes.
be that person.
If you see somebody getting married, do that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I didn't even consider any of that before, but to have it is just awesome. So please, if you see somebody proposing, pull it out, talk to them afterwards. I guarantee you they're going to want it.
Oh, that's cool.
Love that. Good advice.
Good Samaritans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They didn't know they were talking to the Julio.
They didn't.
No, after I told him who I was,
Like,
oh
whoa,
my
whoa.
God, yes.
We are in Malibu. Of course, there's a celebrity in the restaurant.
But it was nice. It was very, very nice. It was nice to walk away like that. And honestly, for as much as we were fine not being married, I'm really happy married. So is she. I mean, it feels different. It does. And not as much for me, because I know that how I feel is the same as it was before, but everybody else recognizes it differently. You know, it's not my girlfriend, it's my wife. And that's how serious I knew how I felt. She knew how I felt, but now everybody else does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's the big thing.
So you had the first wedding, super duper tiny small, and in the restaurant with not a lot of people. Now we're working on the second wedding. Do you even care? Are you thinking about it, or were you just like the proposal and then marriage was? Do you care about the wedding part?
I was the only thing I really cared about the wedding part, and this is truthfully, was that she was happy. Absolutely getting chocolate cake. I knew that out the gate.
Chocolate cake.
Yes.
No fighting that.
Could you imagine if you were like, I'm leaning towards red velvet?
I considered being a jerk and just playing with it a little bit, but it's just too
No.
close.
Too much.
No.
Smart.
So
That was smart.
No. I didn't need her to turn her cheek when I about to kiss her and get married.
Yeah.
No.
Good point.
Pull a Lucy on me. No, don't need that.
So you knew that she was going to do that. So you start looking around.
Yes. Venues, different places. Initially, we were both leaning toward the beach. We're both very much love the ocean. Looked at several different places off of hotels and stuff. And I don't remember how she came across it. She heard somewhere that there was a castle in Agoura Hills, which wasn't far from where we lived and close to where the girls go to school. Just a random place to have a castle. So she looked up things online and said, hey, we should go check this out. And we did. And it was really cool. Very unique, a different experience, very isolated and very fairy tale. Very, very nice. So we jumped on it. It was right after COVID. So we were able to set everything up relatively quickly. I think we turned things over in a few months.
That's still to this day, I don't think you understand. Like, I know the crazy story you guys have of getting together, and that's crazy. The craziest part of this story is how quickly you were able to get a venue post-COVID.
Yes.
That is magical. Your
One of the
relationship is
first.
so magical that, of course,
All of it.
the wedding gods
Yep.
looked down upon you and said, give them this venue
It
within
worked
3 months.
Out fantastic. I mean, there was not much to complain about. It came together great. We didn't spend a heck of a lot. It was intimate, but nice. I mean, we had a band. My dad danced most of the evening. It was good. It was good times. It was really good times. It was nice to see everybody after 2 years of not seeing anybody.
Yeah.
Did you have any specific thing that you wanted at the wedding? Like, she had the chocolate cake. Was there anything you specifically were like, I want this to be at this wedding?
I was gonna not wear my dress shoes. I knew that. I was wearing Doc Martens. That's what I've been wearing since junior high, and I was gonna wear them at the wedding. I had 2 different pairs, but that was about it. We ended up with it wasn't even because of me, believe it or not, but we ended up with a whole Spider-Man motif that everybody assumes was me because I'm the big comic guy, but believe it or not, it was not. Initially, it was kicked off with her. She's leaned into my geekdom and my nerddom in a big way. So when we were laughing and talking about invitations and whatnot, she really wanted me to draw it. So I drew up MJ and Spidey getting married, and that led into more Spidey, and eventually the cake was Spidey, and my cufflinks were Spidey, and she had little pins and stuff like that as well. So there were accents throughout, and then all the kids that we had invited, and there was like 10 kids who all had Spider-Man toys and things of that. So
Oh, that's cute.
we gave that to our ring boy, and what did the girl get? She got something else. I can't recall. Cute kids, all my friends' kids. Which everything worked out beautifully. I could not have imagined it any differently.
Were you in earshot of the wedding planner screaming about not being able to find the bride?
Yeah. Yeah. She was doing her best, but she was very. I think she was doing her best. She was just. We all react to stress in different ways, and yeah, she was really stressed trying to find her at the last minute.
Did you have any fear that you were being jilted in that moment?
I did not.
Okay.
I did think they misplaced the bride.
Okay, she's just lost.
I think
She's
that
locked in a
somebody left
tower.
her somewhere she should not have been. That's what I assumed.
Like a lost dog. You're just
I
like, uh-oh.
I considered going to look for her, but I wasn't supposed to see her before the wedding. So,
Right. And then they would have lost you, and that's
a
like,
whole
right, just
thing.
at least
you
keep
gotta-
eyes
you
on the
gotta keep
groom.
one.
Yeah.
I have GPS on at all times. So I'm good. Actually, that was one of the tricks too. Is the cell reception was horrendous too, so we couldn't really, because it's in the middle of the mountains, in
Yeah.
the castle.
Right. In
So,
a castle.
Yeah, it was lovely.
The dilemmas of getting married in a castle.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi
Right.
will be limited.
Yes, and what else? Any other warnings of castle?
Dragons.
No dragons. Oh, did she tell you about the? As a result of some difficulty with the planning of the wedding, I ended up having to drive a very large van for our guests that were being shuttled back and forth.
She
Yes.
mentioned it.
Yeah,
She
that was
did.
that was fun to do right before you get married.
Yeah.
So that was a little stressful. The next morning, though, was even more fun. Warning for people with castles. And you're trying to get a massive, huge van that you shuttled everybody last night with out of a driveway in reverse around all of this castle architecture in a van you've never driven before except that one night. And you're kind of a little tired and dazed from the previous evening's festivities.
Yeah.
So the brake and the gas got confused,
Oh,
and we accelerated backwards. I managed to hit the brake inches before we ran into a column.
Oh, no.
So yeah, so
With all of your loved ones inside?
no, this is the day after the
okay.
wedding. This is when we had to go home to finish and see the family finally because everybody was
Got
waiting
it.
for us. Yeah, no, this was the next morning. The previous day was just getting it there. After that was getting it back, and that kind of sucked.
Man.
Oh,
But yeah, do that stuff. Get it done. Else, you have enough things to worry about if you're actually
pay
in
a
the wedding.
person,
Pay somebody
right.
to do that.
Or find a friend and make it their duty.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't do
Right.
it yourself. As little as you have to worry about, the better.
Right. Yeah, that's smart
Yes.
advice.
Yep.
very good advice.
Also, obviously, we need to talk about the event that happened. Was it the day after the wedding or 2 days after the wedding?
2 days. Yeah. That was fun. That was fun.
Was it?
No. So it was basically, I knew I had a solid partner. I knew I had a good marriage. I didn't need to be tested out the gate. And that's not the way the universe works sometimes. So we are in our backyard. We had just finished moving all of our stuff in. The house was finished. All the things were on the walls finally. I mean, it looked good.
So you just moved into that house?
Just finished moving the last piece onto the wall.
I didn't realize that.
Just finished. And we're sitting in the backyard admiring our work after having just gotten married in a whirlwind, having moved in the same month. It was just
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with a glass of wine in the backyard talking to her, and I notice a very odd disco ball shining type of light coming out of our bathroom. It looked like if you were to flash a flashlight onto a disco ball. That's what, just little shining things.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's weird. I don't remember having a disco ball in our bathroom. So I get a little closer and I notice that it isn't a disco ball. It is the entire ceiling on fire. And melted pieces of plastic from a fan are dripping down in molten chunks from the ceiling onto the carpet and lighting the carpet on fire.
Oh, my God.
So there's a fire on the ceiling and there's a fire on the floor. And I'm in the middle of loving our home and loving my wife and saying, oh, shit, we got a fire.
Yeah.
I handed her my glass of wine and ran to see what was going on, noticed the fire, opened the door, threw the fiery rug out into the backyard, ran and killed the electricity, hoping that would have killed the fire, but it continued. By that time, it had already started burning the beams. It had started burning the insulation that had continued to come down, smoke
God.
everywhere. Not one fire alarm.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, not one fire alarm. Now, I'd been told I caught it pretty quick, but they didn't even go off after the fire folks had shown up. So we fixed and changed all of those since. But that could have gone a lot worse. I mean,
Thank goodness you were there.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. We had done so many different scenarios. If I wasn't there and she was asleep, if the
Right.
girls
And,
were
like-
there and we weren't home.
Right, the girls
Yeah.
or the pets.
Oh, the
like,
pets
there's-
alone.
Right.
No. So
Wow.
After killing electricity, it was a matter of running in, grabbing the animals, wrangling cats during a fire. Do not recommend that at all. Not a fun
Oh
time.
God.
The dogs were
Yeah.
great, no problem, but the cats were not. And
They don't thrive in those situations.
no, they don't know you're helping them.
No.
Wrangling cats, just
Yeah.
in general,
Right.
is
Into
difficult.
a car.
Oh,
And the only experience they have in the car is when they're going to the vet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good times.
Not good memories.
yeah.
Anyway, they got there within 6-7 minutes, put the whole thing out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
LAFD, shout out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That most professional, awesome. I could not be happier with them. They came in, they made a bigger hole, cut the whole thing out, went in through the roof, went on the top. When they left and we had the damage left behind, the fire damage wasn't bad, but the smoke just pervasive everywhere you went. And we thought if we sleep on the opposite side of the house in the far bedroom furthest, maybe we'll be okay. We woke up the next day with red eyes, coughing, and it was poison, so we couldn't.
Yeah, it's not
stay.
livable.
Yeah.
So 2.5 months bouncing around from Airbnb to Airbnb. In the beginning, it was almost like a little holiday, but you pack for a week and you find out you're out for 2.5 months.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it was not fun. And then she does her work we both do from home. So anywhere we were, it was all right as long as we had Wi-Fi. But getting the girls to school and living a normal life reminds you that you're not on vacation, and you put on a few pounds because, of course, you're eating out more often and you don't have access to the gym. And yeah, I was happy to come home. I'm very happy to be back finally.
Oh God, what a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's been a lot. So I think we are well deserved for uneventful, calming, boring months ahead. I hope.
I agree. All right, now that we know the wedding experience, we may have heard the worst, but I'm not going to assume. But what was your best and worst experience in the whole journey?
The best by far was her saying I do. It's true. We just standing up there. I don't know if she told you this, and it was funny because we didn't get to rehearse very much at all. We were told where to go and all of that, but we actually didn't walk through the whole thing. And it was tiny. It was just a few of us, so it wasn't a big deal.
We're like, go that way.
Yeah. So I knew which way I was supposed to go, but I was just anxious to get married, so I just bolted up there. I did not take my time for pictures and slowly walk up with her. No, we were like she was pregnant and about to give baby. That we just rushed, and they laughed and pointed it out because nobody got any pictures of us walking up. We had to slow down and leaving. But I was anxious to get up there. I wanted it to be official. I was happy as happy could be. She looked beautiful. And I was with the right person. I knew that. So it was nice. It was being there overall, but hearing the words I do at that time was just fantastic.
Aw,
That's a good answer, Julio.
I know. I got goosebumps.
Aw, it's really nice.
I feel it. I mean it.
Oh, Julio. Just put my hand on my chin thinking about Julio. Just so romantic. So,
And the
what's your
worst?
worst, yeah.
Well, Misplaced Bride was probably up there because I wasn't concerned. I knew they'd find her, but I also knew what she'd be feeling like at the time. Almost, wrecking the castle with the van definitely
fair.
was up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the worst you have to say about your wedding, you did all right. I mean, I can't really think of much. Every guest was great. The band was fantastic. The food was amazing. Shout out to her as well. That Lobo Castle has both venue as well as catering. And the catering was directly from the oven, which was on the other side of the wall. It was just, everything was fantastic. It was not like wedding food. It felt like I was at a restaurant. So big props to that.
Nice.
I want to go to this place so badly.
I do too.
We're planning on it.
Really?
We're going to go back. They actually host dinners. So if you have like 10 people,
What?
they'll do
Guys!
they'll do like 6-course meals, wine tasting.
I'm in.
All right.
Damn.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are a part of this.
Birthday's in May.
Okay.
We're doing it. We're doing this.
So we'll reloop back into this conversation because we want to get back.
Absolutely. If we go, you guys are
Okay,
coming.
fantastic.
Oh man, this place sounds so cool
It is.
and it's so close to us.
Very.
Yeah, we have
I
to
know.
reach out
Who
to
knew?
them. Yeah,
Castle
yeah.
in the hills.
Castle in the Hills. I will not have any major things to deal with at that point because there's no Wi-Fi.
Nope.
Maybe we can get her to get a little Wi-Fi set up.
You know what? Sometimes, I mean, not for a wedding, but sometimes it's good to not have
to
Wi-Fi to be able to.
That's true. That's
This is
true.
true. Until something goes wrong.
Until you're missing a bride.
Right. Right. And we're back.
Hello.
Julio. What a gem.
Swoon.
What a great dude.
I know.
Got a great voice too. I didn't know that. On top of everything.
Yes.
Beautiful voice into the microphone.
Podcast voice.
And I asked him when we started recording or when we were testing the microphones, I was like, you have a great voice. He's like, I've done some voiceover work. I'm like, of fucking course you have. This man is perfect.
I know.
Julio.
Yeah.
I'm just yelling about him aggressively. He literally left my home. I just love him. He's great. Shout out to Julio. We'll see him again when we rent out that castle for a dinner.
Oh, we're totally doing this.
We have to look into it.
I'm in.
Anyway, guys, we came on to talk about some bridal breaks.
We did.
Bridal breaks, for anyone new to listening, are just suggestions we give not only to brides, but to grooms or anyone helping out with a wedding if something to do has nothing to do with weddings.
Right.
So step away. Don't think about the chocolate cake that you need or that your husband isn't letting you get. Just take a break.
Just relax.
Just namaste. Have a drink. Have a fun time. Pammy has a couple of I'm doing a thing with my hands right now that you guys can't see. It's like a circular finger thing. This is good for a podcast, right?
Very namaste.
Yes, sure. I'm going to put my hands down while you tell everybody your bridal break for the week.
All right. My bridal break I found on a website called agfg.com.au. So this is from Australia.
Cool.
And we're in April. This is there's a lot of Easter, spring going on.
Spring has sprung.
Yes, and this sounded pretty good to me. A little different, but tasty nonetheless. So it's made with carrot juice. It's called a carrot mimosa. So it's carrot juice with Prosecco. And then to make it look like a carrot, because it's in a tall champagne glass, then you have the carrot stems or for a garnish.
Smart.
It's so cute.
Let me see the picture.
That's
cute. I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not the biggest carrot juice fan, but I think the two would be really tasty. And Jeff, my husband, really loves carrot juice. So I think he'd really like this.
I like a carrot juice. I'm fine with a vegetable juice in general. I think that sounds refreshing. And again, very spring. Oh, that's very cute in the champagne flute. That is adorable. Yes. This is a cute, if you're doing like an Easter brunch, that's your little signature cocktail.
So cute.
That's very cute. Good job.
And what's your bridal break or two? Because I know you.
I'm gonna do two.
I'm gonna do surprise.
Two. There's no guest, and I like to give three. I think that's fair. The first is an Instagram account which I've been following for years. Actually, I'm surprised I haven't given this as a bridal break.
Yeah.
His name is Samir. The Instagram account is just at Samir SAMIR. He has these little videos he puts together called Celebrity Home Shopping. And it's just, when a celebrity's home goes for sale, it always ends up on every like celebrity website.
Right.
I think like The Dirt, right? Isn't that Variety or whatever? One of those websites, or it doesn't matter. But there's all these different websites. So he takes those pictures and he kind of like puts his head in a little bit, like in the corner, kind of like a TikTok video where you sort of like have the person like popped in to talk about it. But he says in the beginning, he's like, hey, Drake's house, in Beverly Hills is up for sale and it's, $80 million. Let's take a look inside. Let's see the things we do. Like, we love this outside landscaping. We love this chandelier in this. We love this. We love this. Let's talk about what we don't like. Ooh, that's kind of weird. And he goes through and kind of points out kind of all the weird stuff and these like very expensive houses. And it's really cute because there ends up being like themes about things he thinks about. Like that corner is Dustville, USA, because it's just like a corner you can't get to. It's just going to be gross. But of course, celebrities don't think about that because they don't clean their own homes. But us normals immediately would be like, yeah, that's Dustville, USA. Yeah. So yeah, Samir is really fun. He's a fun follow because I enjoy real estate. I enjoy like stupid celebrities celebrity gossip to begin with. And it's like a perfect mixture of both. And he's very funny. And they're very short. It's only like a couple minutes. So you're just like in and out. He's very silly. So at Samir on Instagram. I think he might be at Samir at a couple of different places, but I specifically know about his Instagram as my preferred method of absorbing his content. The other one is a TV series. I think it's only going to be one season because of how the structure of the show is, but it's on Apple TV and it's called The After Party. Stars. I mean, there's so many comedy people that even if you don't know their names, when they pop up, you're like, oh, I know them from such and such. And I know them. Like, it's a huge ensemble cast. But the like main characters that I'm thinking about, Dave Franco, Alana Glazer from Broad City, and Tiffany Haddish. And I don't want to give too much away because it is a mystery. It's a murder mystery. Oh. It is the after party after a high school reunion. And somebody dies, and now everyone is a suspect.
Well, that's fun.
And I don't want to give too much away because I thought it was really interesting how every episode, what they did. Again, I literally don't want to say too much because I knew nothing except for the algorithms on Twitter kept having an advertisement. I'd be like, oh, I love all these people. So Tristan and I mean, I think there's maybe 8 episodes. They're all about 30 minutes. So it really is a quick, like fun little jaunt. But
you are all about your arms today. I wish today. You all could see her
lifting.
They're just flying everywhere. I'm
jazzercising through this episode. Anyway, so on Apple TV, The After Party. I usually describe the show a little bit more, but because I like you guys, I hate spoilers.
Yeah,
I hate when people tell me too much. And I will say the ads were great about not telling you very much at all. And just showing you the stars to be like, yeah, to be like, I love all these people. They could be reading the phone book and I would show up. But it genuinely was good on top of the fact that they're all funny.
And it's Apple.
It's on Apple.
Okay.
So I don't know if everyone has Apple or if you get a new phone, sometimes you get Apple for a bit. Yeah. I think that's how I ended up with it. And then I just never canceled it because
they got good content.
I know they do. And they do. I sucked in. Every time I think I'm going to cancel, they have a new thing that comes out that I like. And I'm like, oh, more Ted Lasso. Now I'm in.
Yep.
Okay. Pammy, now that we're done laughing and joking about all the bridal breaks, now it's time to get serious because it's time for your weekly quiz on what you know about the podcast that you co-host. You should be an expert. Let's find out. Pamela, share with the listeners, what is our website?
WeddingConfessionals.com.
Yes, from there you can find links to all of our social media handles because they're all a little different because we have a long name.
And we do.
If we had just been a little more concise, Confessionals is a long word.
It is.
Anyway, what are the 5 places we are available on social media?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and what I forget.
TikTok,
the latest one.
Yes, TikTok. Also on our website, you can find the tab that says show notes and everything we talk about in the episode. If we are going to send you links, whether it's the bridal breaks we're talking about, or if we're talking about vendors, when someone's coming on and talking specifically about their wedding, they'll be on there. So go to show notes. Also, we would love for you to share your confessionals with us.
We do. We love them.
They're always anonymous.
We read them. We give advice. We give our opinions. We love to give our opinions.
What? Not me. There are 3 different ways to send us your confessional. Always anonymous. We do not share your information. One way is an email. What is the email address?
weddingconfessionals@gmail.com.
Correct. What is the phone number? You can leave us a voicemail. Well, we will transcribe it. You don't even have to worry about your voice.
434-933-2663.
I'll give you an A- for that one.
Okay.
You
I recovered.
Yes. Yeah. Also, if you go to our website, there's a tab that says what, Pammy?
Tell us your secret.
From there is a little form. There's 2 little boxes. What are they?
They're a little form to put whatever you want to write in as a name or something fun and witty or whatever. And then tell us your story in the second box. Yeah. And then hit send.
Hit send. That's it.
Super easy.
We're not asking much.
Nope.
Get on there. Make it happen. Share with the class. Pammy, we are currently available on the Apple Podcast app. Mm-hmm. It is a lovely app that we love.
We love it.
But they do this little thing that's kind of annoying. It is that they really want you to do reviews and give us how many stars?
5 stars.
Yes. So we move up in their little algorithm. So more robots can tell other brides and grooms that we exist.
Yes.
So help us out and help out your fellow brides and grooms and wedding people out there.
Hit subscribe and hit 5.
Yeah, hit 5. Leave a little silly little description. We love them. We love the reviews. Actually, the reviews are great.
They're really fun.
Yeah, you guys are good. You guys are fun. Besides Apple Podcast, Pammy, we are in a bunch of different podcast providers.
It's true.
Do you want me to do the letters? You seem to enjoy me doing the letters.
That's helpful.
Okay.
I'm all right.
We're going to get to the point where it's going to be training wheels are off. But
I know.
We're training. We're getting those muscles good and strong. Okay.
Working on it.
All right. Besides Apple Podcasts, there are 2 that start with the letter A. What are they?
Amazon and Audible.
Yep. 2 with the letter C.
Castro and Castbox.
2 with the letter D.
Deezer and Downcast.
1 with a G.
Google.
1 with an I.
Heart Radio.
1 with an O.
Overcast.
1 with an L.
Listen Notes.
Okay, there's 8 P's. Just see what you can do.
All right. Podbean.
Yes.
Podcast Addict. Player FM. Podcast Paradise.
Yep.
When
you're wearing a dress, it has
Pocket Cast.
Yep. Not your head, but you're flipping a coin. Not a head, but a
tail.
Podtail.
Podtail. Oh, all
right. Podcast Land, Podcast Republic, Radio Public, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Also using Alexa and Siri. If you say play the Wedding Confessionals podcast, it will play.
It will.
And that is it. We did it.
Yay.
And we will be back next week for part 2, Confessionals with Julio.
Yes.
He's got some great voice.
He does.
Voice. What was that?
Oh, I don't
He
know.
does so great a voice. Guys, we need to end the podcast. Clearly, I need to lie down. I'm tired from all the gesturing.
I know. You are. You need to rest.
Okay, I will see you next week. Bye, Pammy.
Bye. Special thanks to Andy Schreier for our adorable theme song.
And David Kantrowitz for our fantastic logo.
And Ramsey Millette and Brian Maylard for their technical support.
If you want to learn more about our show, where you got to go, Pam?
Check out our website, weddingconfessionals.com.
That's it, girl. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.